Yo. What's up? Okay, music gotta chill. I love the jazz, but you gotta chill, alright? Should be better, hopefully. What's going on? Man, a lot has happened. I feel like last week I was like, oh, nothing's happening. I have nothing to talk about. Nothing's going on. This week it's like I have too much to talk about. What's up? Finally home. So quite a bit of stuff happened, but the main thing, obviously, is that I was at Collecticon last weekend. I vended Collecticon. I sold stuff at Collecticon. It was fantastic. It was a great experience. So we're going to go through the days that I was there at Collecticon. I'm just going to cover the entire experience. I thought about doing its own video, but then I was like, do I want to edit that? I don't know if I want to edit that. I just got done doing like a 2-week long editing, and there's already really good videos about the event. One of them from Legend of Luke, who I met at the event. He did a great vlog covering his experience, but I should be able to do like a play-by-play today of my experience at the event. It was super fun. How's it going, Crawdad? Welcome. There's also some other stuff to talk about. So today, Pokemon released the pre-orders for the, what is it called? The Classic Collection? Is that what it's called? Pokemon Classic Collection? Pokemon Trading Card Game Classic. What's up, Brandon? How's it going? Welcome. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. I think it's pretty cool. So I got one. I pre-ordered one. But there is some buzz about it being expensive. People not being happy how expensive it is. So yeah, we'll cover that. What's up, Oni Life? We're also going to talk about a YouTuber who's blown up probably over the last week or two, called Shinyvert. Got in a little bit of trouble with CGC. So we're going to talk about that too, because there's been some wild takes that I've seen. Some really wild takes on the situation that I've seen. It's quite interesting to me. What else are we talking about? Oh, I was on PokeFlipz last week before going to Collecticon, and that was super fun. So we've got some big stuff to talk about. The first thing, let's talk about PokeFlipz, because that'll be fairly quick. PokeFlipz was super fun, good experience. It was fun to go on, and it's a little bit different because like the focus isn't necessarily on the guest. The focus is on like the 3 Pokemon people hanging out together answering questions, which I think is very unique, because a lot of times you just get the interview style, like you are, you're there, all the questions are on you. It's like an interview style. You have to answer all this stuff about your history with collecting and all that stuff. And while that's fun, while that's good, I do think that sometimes, especially some of the more well-known people, it's a little like Spider-Man, where it's like, oh, do we have to see Uncle Ben die for like the 10th time in the new Spider-Man movie? So while I think I'm fairly new to it, you guys obviously know who I am, but it was fun to just kind of hang out and answer questions and stuff. Was I nervous? I was nervous for like the first 20 minutes, probably. Maybe half an hour. It's like a 3-hour thing, so it took about 30 minutes to kind of settle in to where I was just like, okay, I'm fine. Like it's cool. Cause it's set up kind of weird. How's it going, Walrus? Nice to meet you at the show. It's set up a little weird where you can't see Dan when you're recording. or when you're live. So Dan's on the stream, but he's not visible to you. So there was some times when Dan was like, oh, and look at this thing, and he would show something on the screen, and you guys could see it, but I couldn't. So there wasn't really a way for me to react to situations like that. But I think it has to do with Dan's internet, and that he's got that backwoods internet that's really bad. So I think that it's hard for, I don't know exactly. I mean, it's all set up through Discord, so, but I don't know. Something that they're doing makes it so that you can't see him real time. What's up, Cheval? Haha, got it. What's up, man? But yeah. Messed the flow so much, I don't think it could be understated. Yeah, what's up, Mr. Kite? I think it's difficult. It was still a lot of fun, obviously. It doesn't hinder that much, but it does kind of suck not being able to see him. But I don't know. What did you guys think? I'm sure you guys saw it. I felt like it was fine. We didn't really... The only question that I wish I would have expounded more on was the drama one. But then I was like, oh, it's probably good that I didn't expound any more on that. It was the only drama question that was asked the whole time, which was good. I didn't want it to be like 20 drama questions because, you know, it was pretty drama heavy the last couple weeks. But yeah. So I'm glad that it wasn't. I'm glad that it was just like chilling out, answering questions, stuff like that. So yeah, it was good. It was good. It was awesome. Hopefully I will be invited on again at some point. Obviously, they have a long list of people, so I fully understand if it takes a while for it to come back around. But yeah, it was very fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was good too to be on before the show as well, because I had people come up and they would come up to the booth and see me and be like, "Wait, you look familiar." And I was like, "I make content." They're like, "Oh no, you were on Dan's podcast." I was like, "Oh yeah, I was." So some people actually recognized me from the podcast at the booth when they walked up. One of them was Rusty. So TCA Gaming walked up and I was like, "Hey Rusty, nice to meet you." And he looked at me and he was like, "Where do I know you from?" I was like, I was just on PokeFlipz. Oh yeah, okay, that's where. So yeah, that was cool. TCA bought a couple Charizards from my booth, so that was pretty awesome. I sold the Charizard Authority a couple of Charizards, so that's good. PKT. I don't know if there was that much drama. There was a little bit of drama. I'm sure Rattle will talk about it, but there was a little bit of drama with Rattle at the event. But it wasn't even really drama. It just seemed like it was a whatnot streamer or a breaker or somebody who was not very happy about Rattle making a video about him or something. I wasn't there. Well, I was there for it, but I was on the other side of the room, so I didn't hear it. But then Pikachu came over and was like, "Oh, did you see that guy that just kind of yelled at Rattle?" And I was like, "No, I'm over here. I didn't see it." So yeah, so I'm sure they'll talk about it. PK will talk about it, or Rattle will talk about it, one of the two. But yeah, I met a ton of people. Like everybody was there. I feel like all of like the only person I didn't meet, and I'm an idiot because he was at our booth for a really long time on Saturday, but I was too afraid to leave my shit, was Gem Mint. I wish that Gem Mint, I wish that I had introduced myself to Gem Mint. I introduced myself to Charlie, and I got introduced to a bunch of other people, and I met a bunch of people at the bar on Friday night, and we went out to dinner with a bunch of people Saturday night. That was fun. But yeah, Gem Mint was one. He was at Dan's booth for a long time Saturday, but I just didn't want to leave my booth, even though we were in literally the same section. But yeah. But yeah, so before we get into like the play-by-play that is Collecticon, because that's going to take the majority of the live stream. Let's see. Do we want to talk? Oh, let's talk about the Classic collection. So the Classic collection. So I was a little confused because it dropped this morning. There was like a deals tag that was tagged. I looked at it. I was like, oh shit, there's an English version, because I wasn't 100% sure that there was going to be an English version. So we got the English version. But then initially I wasn't going to pre-order because when I looked at the cards, they didn't look like they were hollows. They looked like they were just going to be flat. And I was like, wow, they're really like screwing over the English version of this if those cards aren't hollows. But I was wrong. They actually are hollows, and I did get a pre-order in before yeah. Let me see. Is the Japanese Classic collection cheaper? I'm curious. Oh, it's what, 350,000 yen. So yeah, that's probably, what is it, yen to USD? Yeah, it's like $237. Huh. Interesting. I wonder why it's so much more. What's up, Oak? How's it going? I wonder, yo, what's up, Drew? Drew and I actually chilled. What? We shared a room at the event, so that was fun. Oak, we missed you. I wish you would have been there. You're like one of the people I still have to meet, so I'm gonna be, okay, another announcement. I'm gonna be at Card Party next year. I booked it today. I booked the hotel. I booked my ticket. I haven't booked the flight yet, but I will be at Card Party next year, which is going to be super cool. So I will be in Orlando, in Florida, which means Oak, you have to go to Card Party. No excuses. It's $100 for 3 days. You got to go. It's in June. Yeah, the Japanese ones look better, but they're doing, like, you know that I'm not going to be able to buy one, right? That's the thing. Is like, I was able to get an English pre-order because it went up on, you know, English Pokemon Center. There's no way I'm getting a Japanese pre-order for that. There's no way. So I'll have to buy it secondary market anyway, and it's probably going to be like $500 on secondary market because they did the whole, what did they do? They did the one thing. The whole, like, you have to put in your name and then you'll hopefully be drawn, but you actually won't actually be drawn because you have a Tenso address that they just ignore. Waiting for Card Party Gen 9 to get the good Pokemon. Oh god. Gen 2 is my favorite game, so. Wait, you go to Card Party 2? Oh, I didn't go last year, but I'm going this year. It's gonna be cool. I got the VIP, the extra VIP ticket, the expensive VIP ticket. Cause I was like, don't want to wait in lines, want access to the lounge, want to introduce myself to more PokeTubers in the VIP area. So I got the massive, and I want to do a lot of content. So all of that stuff. Gen 2's best gen. Gen 4 remakes of Gen 2 is best games for sure. But yeah, let's look at this quick. That's not it. Is this it? That's it. All right. Let's look at this thing, because I think it's kind of cool. Shut up, Jazz. So this is the classic Pokemon trading card game Classic Edition. So one thing I will say is the minute that they announced this, they said that it was going to be a premium product. That it wasn't going to be your normal like build and battle kit. It was a premium product. The minute that they announced it. So, and I think the minute that they announced it in Japanese, they actually put a price as well. So I don't know why. I don't exactly know why people are freaking out about how expensive this is, unless it's just a bunch of people that didn't pay attention like months ago when this was actually announced. This should be the English one, or it might have both, but we'll see. This is where I saw the holos for the English version, but it might show. What's up? Go back. See, they don't do a very good job of. Maybe they show the cards a little better. So these are the English. You can see that there's like a glitter holo on the Pikachu and on the Charmander. I think it's on all of these starter Evos. So Charmeleon, Charmander, Charizard, Pikachu. And then obviously Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, Venusaur will have a holo. And then Squirtle, Wartortle, Blastoise will have a holo as well. So there's a bunch of holo cards in the thing. It's not just the starters. There's a bunch of holos, which is cool. Chansey's also holo, looks like. See, even the announcement video. Look at this. Even the announcement video looks like it's just rich people playing with this thing. You knew it was going to be expensive. Like, people surprised that it's expensive just blow my mind. But of course it's going to be expensive. It's going to be sick. Look at that Charizard, bro. Look at the Charizard. Woo, baby. Now, the Japanese one looks, of course, cooler because it's Japanese and it adds hollow borders. But that glitter hollow on that Charizard, that looks nice. That looks real nice. I like that. I like that. And I like that they went with the Japanese aesthetic where they put the hollow kind of behind the fire. Because if you look in the base set cards, the hollow is actually in front of the fire and you can't see the fireball really well. But I like that they went around it and they did that instead. It looks so good. Ooh, they look good. Classic. I think it's cool. $400 is, I don't know. I hope that the actual box is like nice and all of the things in it are nice. And like, I hope it feels premium when it actually comes in. But either way, I'm gonna be sending all these cards for grading, and we'll see how it does. We'll see how it does. Right when I get it, all the cards grading. It's more of a flip thing for me than anything. So, because I only bought one. If I bought two, it's like, oh, maybe I'll keep one sealed, then I'll flip one. But I only got one. They did say that the unique cards coming in this collection will be released later in different sets or whatever. But what I believe is what they mean is the new EXs that are going to be in this set. I think there's like a Lugia EX and a couple other EXs. The unique cards, those cards will be released in later sets. Not the Charizard, Venusaur, Blastoise holos. I don't believe. I would be very surprised if that were the case. I think that those will be specific for this. All right, let's see, Nick. Where did that go? All right, let's take a look. Ooh, all right. So here are all the cards because Nick is a boss. We've got wait, what is happening? Hello? Oh my God. Keiko, are you serious? Bud, get down. I can't see. Cat. You are such a pain. All All right. That's better. Okay, so there's the Bulbasaur. It looks like each of these have the nice glittery hollow. Oof. God, they look good. Now, I wish that you can actually see it. There might be some there's going to be opportunity for hollow bleed on these for sure. There's going to be some massive opportunity for hollow bleed. Because you can already see it on this Venusaur that there's hollow bleed. That's cool. And these are the Japanese. Of course, they look 100 times better with the nice hollow border as well as the hollow area. Why didn't they give us a hollow border? What's the point, man? Not cool, bruh. All right, here's the English Charizard. Oh, damn, look at that Zapdos. The green shiz gonna be crazy. God, that looks good. Look at this Zapdos. Yo, the green shiz is gonna be all over this. Look at the, oh my God, look at the energies. That's sick. The Articuno's hollow looks like, at least in Japanese. I'm sure it will be in English as well. Here's the Blastoise. Ooh, man, this is going to be good. That's going to be cool. But yeah, I think it's cool. I hope that it feels premium. That's my thing. If you're going to charge $400, I really hope that that not only the cards are going to look great. Hopefully they're in decent condition, even though obviously it is English, so it possibly won't be. Check the water deck list to see all the reprints and fire cards in there. The Gyarados. Wait, where is that? Oh, the Blastoise EX deck. All right, hold on. No, they're doing the Heart Gold Soul Silver Gyarados? Oh my God, the Arita Gyarados is so awesome. Yo, that's sick. Base set Mewtwo. Hell yeah. Suicune EX, Blastoise. Yo, I can't believe that they're putting in that Gyarados. And is it Articuno in a different deck? Oh, there it is. That's so sick. I wonder if the Gyarados is going to be hollow. I would assume, right? Damn, that's cool. And that cool Mr. Mime. I think that's CD promo, isn't it? Or not CD promo, vending? Isn't that a vending artwork of Mr. Mime? That's cool. Let's check out the other decks. The Zapdos is going to be awesome. Then you got the Pikachu. You got the Charizard, Clefable, and Clefairy. Yeah, these are going to be full send CGC. Wait, do you get 2 of each of the starters? Are they both hollow? There's no way. You get 2 of each of these things and they're both hollow? Oh my God, this was like the best purchase I've ever made. Not saying that you should buy this for $400. I'm just saying, if you get 2 of each of these starters, oh, the Scyther. Oh no, I wonder if that Snorlax is hollow. That'd be sick. Another Chansey. Bro. Dude, this is gonna be cool. 2 of each starter. Price per card is actually kind of nutty. Wow. Yeah, this is gonna be sick. I'm really excited for this. That's going to be super cool. I'm down. I'm glad I got one. Apparently they are going to be going to distribution as well. So other online retailers will be getting these. It's not just GameStop and Pokemon Center. So keep an eye out for them. Apparently, based on what people have said so far, is it sounds like it's going to be kind of limited, which makes sense because it's kind of an expensive limited release. But yeah, crazy, absolutely cool. I am really excited for that to come in. I'm glad that I pulled the trigger. I think it's cool though. I know that some people are kind of pissed that they're so expensive that they're gonna miss out on it because of the price. And I feel for you. That sucks. I mean, I could only buy one. I couldn't really justify buying more than one. I'm happy that I got one, but that's all I can do. It sucks that some people are gonna miss out. Hopefully, there's gonna be singles available. So if there's one card in the set that you really want, you might be able to grab that for a better price. Especially since there's 2 of each starter in everything. So if you're a Charmander collector or if you're, you know, a Squirtle collector, it might be easier to come by those. But yeah, you'll just have to keep an eye out and ear out and see if you can get one. But yeah, it's a bit more of a premium thing. They could have gone way harder with it. Obviously, they could have serialized something. They could have, you know, for the 20th anniversary, I think I've seen that they did some sort of like 24 karat gold freaking Pikachu reprint thing that was insane. So they could have gone way harder on it. It is expensive, but I think it's gonna be cool. I'm pretty excited about it. I thought everything's supposed to be hollow. I think it's just certain cards. I don't think every card is hollow. Is every card hollow in the Japanese? I'm not sure. But yeah, I think it's just certain cards that are hollow. And then there's some cards that are not. I could be wrong, but that's what it kind of looked like, was that the ones that are hollow, excluding like the starters. But yeah. Condition might be rough. Yeah, we'll see. I hope that it's, you know, a premium product. You would hope that it's made in a premium way. And that the product is premium. If you're gonna pay $400 for something, you want it to be premium. So hopefully the premium product is printed in a premium facility with the premium blade for cutting. Hopefully. All right. I don't know. Okay, so how much do I want to talk about this? We could watch a video on this situation, but or we could just discuss it. You want to just discuss it? The whole like CGC cutting or CGC grading the cut cards. You guys want to just discuss it and not watch a video? Because I watched the video from Northwoods TCG, which was pretty good. I mean, you could tell that he has a bias, a pretty clear one. I mean, it's a very clear-cut situation, but I've seen so many people really going hard on CGC's decision to ban in this case. All right, Brandon, sounds good. We'll see you later. Got a soccer game at 10 p.m. Jesus. People seem to not really agree with the fact that CGC banned Shiny Vert after everything that happened, which I think is a little foolish. Like, of course, like what? I'm not sure what else you'd expect to happen at that point. It's kind of like a fucked around and find out situation. It's like, maybe, I mean, you wouldn't get banned if you didn't knowingly, fraudulently submit cards to try and trick CGC into grading them, which you successfully did. So it did, you know, ultimately there are good things that came out of this situation, but they are more byproducts of the situation and not, I wouldn't say that Shiny Bird is like, you know, the Messiah. He was banned for our sins or something like that. Like some people want to say like, oh, you know, Shiny Vert walked so we could run, you know, that type of situation. It's like, the dude is not a martyr. The dude did something wrong. He got punished for it. And now CGC obviously needs to reevaluate the whole cut card situation. How did CGC think a card like that is an error? Because you can literally pull cards like that out of packs. That's why. That's the problem. But we shouldn't be asking that question, I don't think, personally. Like, you can, and it's good that we know that like, okay, maybe CGCs shouldn't be grading miscut cards. Maybe they just shouldn't be until they can determine what was cut at the factory and what wasn't. Maybe they shouldn't be. And that's probably what will come down to it. Hopefully they will reevaluate and make changes to the way that they do things now. But I don't think it should come as a surprise that Shiny Vert was banned, because he broke the terms of service. He fraudulently submitted cards that he cut himself. He made content around it. CGC watches videos on YouTube, so obviously they're going to see his video and they're going to take action. And they did. They banned him. That's exactly how that should go. Like, if I'm a computer hacker, maybe this isn't the best situation, because I feel like I have heard of people saying, or getting hired, or like hackers getting hired because CGC tried to do anything to beat PSA. Oh, Oni Life. Oh, God, bro. I wish that I could like properly explain how bad brand loyalty is. Brand loyalty ruins things. We should want both companies to be good. I know it's a crazy concept that we would want more than one grading company to be a good company for the hobby. But we want all three companies, all four companies, all the grading companies. We should want them to all be good options, because it creates competition, and competition is good. That's how we get, $9.60 grading fees. Like, if your brand loyalty is so freaking dumb, it's insane, and people fall into it so hard. And it creates all this bias, and then they feed into basically a grading monopoly, and then they wonder why, PSA's prices don't drop, or PSA's turnaround times don't get faster, or PSA's customer service still sucks. It's like, I wonder why. We should be wanting all these companies to be good. So I don't think, what does CGC do that's not good? I'm curious. What does CGC do that's not good to try and beat PSA? What do they do? I'm curious. I'm down. I am ready. What are some examples? Because I almost guarantee any example that you're going to give me is going to, I'm gonna be able to point out an example that PSA does the exact same thing. Because all these grading companies make these mistakes. How many fraudulent autographs have PSA signed or graded? Do we even know? How many fraudulent autographs do you think are out there that are in a PSA case? Probably tons. How many fake cards are in a PSA case? Probably tons. So the fact that CGC, yes, they fucked up. They should not be grading cards that they can't verify were cut in a factory. 100%, I agree with you. But this idea that CGC is cutting all these corners to try and beat PSA. It's like, look at the numbers. CGC is not even close to beating PSA, and they probably never will be in Pokemon. But that doesn't mean that they can't be an alternative company to use for grading and hopefully provide competition and force PSA to get better as a company for us, because that's what we should want. My point with the Shiny Vert situation is the people who seem to think that it was wrong of CGC to ban Shiny Vert. That's the thing that I find weird. Why are people defending Shiny Vert in the situation? Is there anyone in chat that defends shiny vert and that he should not have been banned? Because that's what I'm curious about. Because I saw that a lot on Instagram. They're like, oh, CGC's the devil. They banned the guy who showed them that a flaw in their system. Like, if I was a hacker and I hacked into Amazon's, Amazon.com, and I fraudulently bought a bunch of product, technically, I showed Amazon that there's a flaw in their website, right? I did a good thing. I showed Amazon that there's a flaw in their website. Guess what? They're still gonna come after me with legal action. That's kind of how it works. Like, there are good things that came out of this, which are CGC will hopefully get better. But there's also, like, none of this would even have occurred if we as collectors weren't constantly trying to, like, trip up the grading companies, because that's what we feel like is so fun. We need to fraudulently send cards in for grading to trip up the grading companies because I can make a video about it and then cry about it when I get banned. It's like, no, just send legitimate cards for grading. So yeah, I mean, there's some good consequences that came out of it, but like, I just don't get this whole CGC's the devil for banning shiny vert. That's what I would expect from any other situation from any other company. That's my only point. And I'm not trying, like, I like both companies. I like PSA, I like CGC. I haven't gotten a Beckett submission back yet, but hopefully Beckett, hopefully that goes well as well. I want all these companies to improve, because it only becomes better for us as collectors if all the companies are firing on all cylinders and making each other better. So, yeah, it's been this way for years. Ever since CGC started, and ever since, I started making videos, it's always been this way. It's always been this way. Like, my most viewed video was a short. It was my first ever it's actually, where is it? It's right there. It's the base set Charizard. My first ever base set Charizard that I ever owned. I sent it into CGC to get graded. And I made a short. And I was like, wow, look at this. This is my first ever graded Charizard. It got a CGC 8.5. Isn't that cool? And guess what? Every single comment on that video was people shitting on me for grading it with CGC and calling me a scammer, that if I ever sold that card in CGC plastic, that I would be scamming somebody. Almost every single comment on that video was negative. Just completely, like, and I was just happy to get it back in plastic. I was just like, wow, isn't this cool? It's my first ever graded Charizard. Like, why do we let... I just, the brand loyalty stuff, it just doesn't make any sense to me. That's how monopolies are created. Is when too many people become loyal to, one brand versus any of the other competition. But yeah, let's move on. People are probably irritated with me yelling. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say about that situation. No, I don't think so. No, I'm good. I don't want to regret later not saying something about it. There was one thing where they had mentioned, or I think Shiny Vert in his follow-up video mentioned that that they were taking legal action against him or something like that, which was not technically true. I think the legal action was basically if you sell these cards to other people, after we have requested, basically it was like, We request that you either send these cards into us so we can remove remove them from their cases, or, destroy them or whatever. And if you fail to do that and you sell them, or they show up, in a different place in the market, or something happens, then he would become legally liable for that, which makes sense. It all makes sense. If you think about it logically, it all makes sense. Everything, like, I have this thing sometimes where I feel like I think about things first from the company's perspective, and then I have a hard time thinking about it from the collector's perspective, because it just doesn't logically follow at all. Because the collector's perspective a lot of times is the more emotional perspective. Like, I don't like this. It's like, yeah, I don't like it either. But does it logically make sense? Yes. So, it just is what it is. He tried to expose how fragile the concept of authentication can be. I respect that. He had to know he exposed himself to repercussions. I don't think other companies do better. No, yeah, I mean, if that was his goal, then it's just a fucked around and found out. that's what it is. Like, if your goal was to, I mean, he succeeded. He succeeded. I mean, I don't know what he thought. Did he think that CGC was gonna, like, hire him? I think at this point he's just trying to get views. I would think. But yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, if you're a miscut collector, definitely be wary of miscut cards in CGC cases at this point, and hopefully CGC makes steps to change the way that they authenticate miscut cards. And if they can't authenticate it in a way that makes sense, then they just shouldn't grade them. But I think that what Shinyvert did was wrong. You shouldn't fraudulently send in cards to companies to try and expose them unless you're doing it for views and you don't care if you get banned. So, all right. Okay. Next up. Sorry I got heated. But brand loyalty is one of those things that's just so stupid. It's so stupid. I've always thought, like, the PlayStation, Xbox, console wars, stupid. Apple, Android, stupid. All of these, like, brand loyalty is just so dumb. Why ever be loyal to a brand if there are better options out there? We should be searching for the optimal best options available to us, not just the popular ones that we can, slide into a community and become a part of, like, this brand-oriented, like, amalgamation of people who all stand for one brand. And, I don't know. It's a whole, like, collectivism online, and it just doesn't make any sense. It's you keep your just. I mean, you should go with what you like as well, obviously. So, like, if you honestly like one thing better than the other, then you should do that thing. Like, it comes down to personal preference as well, but you shouldn't be closed off to better opportunities because you like one thing, right? So you can like a thing, and there can be other great things. Like my stepdad, for the longest time, when he was a kid, he would only eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. He would only eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. He would go to Thanksgiving, only eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. He would go to birthday parties, they would have to bring him a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It was like that or pizza, and that's it. And then all of a sudden, when he was 20, 30 years old, he started eating more food. And he was like, wait a minute. This food's good. It's like, yeah, no shit. I know that you like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and pizza, but there's more good food out there. Who knew? So yeah, I don't know. It's just like, just keep an open mind. People close off like so quickly, and they lose out on great things because of it. Am I gonna open 151? Yeah, I have some 151 English coming in. I'll be opening it. Yeah, the internet's influence of people wanting to fit in with strangers is so strong. They'd rather change and belong to a tribe. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I hate Pokemon, but I don't want to be alone. Fuck off. All right, let's talk. We don't have to watch that anymore. Probably won't watch this. Okay, let's go over the day. Collecticon. Finally talking about it. I'll make sure to put a little timestamp in the video so people can go straight to the Collecticon part. Let's talk about Collecticon. So, let's start with... Yo, what's up? Dan, how's it going? Just in time? Yeah, you missed my you missed a very heated rant. But yeah, just in time for Collecticon. Would be interesting to dive into the psychology behind collecting. We didn't even know about the concept of slabs not so long ago. We massively decided to project so much value into it. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about it. So, Collecticon, day one. I drove because I'm only about 2.5 hours away from Charlotte. So I live in the Raleigh area. No, Oni Life, I love you, man. I just, you know, it just gets to me sometimes. So I live in around the Raleigh area, and so I'm about 2.5 hours away from Charlotte. So Charlotte is like the best one for me to go to because I can drive all my shit down there. And that is exactly what I did. I drove all my shit down there. So what I brought was all of my slabs. So this is just about half of the slabs that I brought. These are all Pokemon, all in alphabetical order. We have some CDC, some PSA, a lot of PSA 10, some PSA 9s. Mostly in these two cases are going to be slabs 50 or higher. And then down here in the bottom left corner, you can see some packs. I brought all of my light packs for Fire Red, Leaf Green, and Team Rocket Returns. So I brought everything. These are all slabs, okay? So I brought more slabs. So what I did was I decided that I was going to have 2 rows of boxes that were going to be graded cards 50 or less. And it was just the boxes. So people would come up, they would rifle through the boxes, they would find if they liked a particular product, or if they liked a particular card, I can't speak, they would just pull it out and pay for it. And it was actually kind of nice because I feel like I probably sold more graded cards out of these boxes than I did out of the cases, I would say. So this actually worked out pretty well for me. The only problem was my case only fits about half of, or one of these cases, or my display only fits about one of these cases. So for the entirety of the show, I basically had an entire case of graded cards that was just chilling behind the table. So in that case, when people would walk up, I would say, hey, I have a bunch more back here if you're looking for a specific Pokemon, but unfortunately, so I could have done with probably 2 tables and put out all of my graded cards, but 1 table was good enough for me. So the first day I packed up, I decided to drive, and partway there, I got behind a guy with a trailer. And this really sucked. I got behind a guy with a trailer. Okay, here's what happened. Here's the situation. We are in a 2-lane road, and on the other side, it's a 1-lane. And we are in the far lane to the other lane, right? In the other lane, there's a bus that's stopped. Kind of. There's a bus that is starting to move again, and the stop sign is coming in, right? and there's through traffic. There's people driving on the inner lane. I don't know if I'm explaining this correctly. Basically, the bus's stop sign was closing. It was starting to move, and there was traffic next to us, closest to the bus, that was still going. Well, I don't know what the dude with the trailer was looking at, but apparently he looked up, he saw the stop sign from the bus that was closing, and he slammed on his brakes in front of me. So, dude slams on his brakes. I am probably following a little bit too close, but we weren't going that fast to the trailer. And I slam on my brakes too, and I get really close to the trailer, but luckily I didn't hit him. And luckily the person behind me didn't hit me. But unfortunately what happened was I had all my slabs stacked up on top of my my cases in the back. So all my slabs, thankfully they stayed in the boxes, but all the boxes that were holding my slabs freaking fell. Hold on. I'm not a terrible driver, I promise. Okay. So all my slabs fell off of this box, which I'm gonna blame Dan because this is Dan's box. I drove Dan's box down and I had to put my slabs on top of Dan's box, and so the slabs slid off of Dan's box and fell onto the floor. So I'm gonna blame Dan for this. I'm gonna blame Dan for my for my following too close to a truck with a trailer. So the boxes fell forward. Thankfully, they fell kind of into this blanket that I had over them, and they didn't fall out anywhere, and there weren't any cracked cases. So we got lucky there. So that was good. And when I got there, let's see, the first thing I did was find lunch because I was hungry as hell. And I got there around like 11, maybe noonish. First thing I did was find lunch. I walked over to the convention. Sounds like a rough ride. Yeah, no problem, man. I walked over to the convention center because it was only 3 blocks from the hotel. And okay, so first I checked in at the hotel, which was great because I was worried that they weren't going to let me check in early. But thankfully, my room was already ready, so we could switch over to this. You guys can see what the hotel looked like. The hotel was really nice. I've stayed at this place twice now. All right, so it was the same hotel for. So I've actually stayed. It was the same hotel from last year that they did. It's expensive though. It was like $225, $230 a night, something like that, But it's a really nice hotel, and all of the room, I don't know if all the rooms have a great view, but we were on the 10th floor. When I got in, I was like, the dude was like, do you have any preferences? What floor do you want to be on? I was like, the higher the better, I guess. So we got 10th floor, and it is the same shirt. Yeah, same shirt, by the way. What's up, Allman? So you could see that we had a pretty damn nice view of Charlotte, which is a really nice city. I've only been there twice now, even though I live so close, but it is a really nice city. Obviously, the beds were incredibly comfortable, I thought, at least. I thought it was super comfortable. And you got that long couch there. I think that some people rent out part of their room. And then here's the view from the hotel, which is pretty awesome. You got all these big... And this building, I didn't get a picture of it, but this building at night lights up. There's like LED strips that go like all the way up the sides of the building. So maybe Drew has a picture of it. I think Drew took a picture of it, but this building lights up all cool. He said it looked kind of like Kaiba Corp building. Is that what he said? Something from Yu-Gi-Oh. But yeah, it was really awesome. My bed was comfy aside from Nick and Walrus hogging so much of it. What? And we were only 3 blocks from the hotel, or from the convention center. Last year, They had it at a different convention center. Okay. All right, bud. Get my face off the screen. Last year, they had it at a different convention center, and it was like 2 miles away. So you had to drive 2 miles with your shit to get to the convention center that Charlotte. So you basically stayed downtown, and then the convention center was like miles away from the actual hotel. Where this year, it was 3 blocks away. They did the nice big downtown convention center instead of doing the high school gym or whatever we were in before. it was weird. But yeah. Let's see. I tried to set up a bodily fluid train. What? All right. So let's see. So first day, I got some lunch. There was a really nice sandwich place. It was called Sandwich Club. It was right across the street from the convention center. And so that was awesome. It was a really good sandwich too. What was it? It was like turkey and some spicy honey thing, stuff like that. Yeah, Card Party 2 will be in Orlando, I believe. Let me see. I want to grab, because this will kind of be like the first. I hope Luke is okay with this. Legend of Luke did a great vlog. And
what's up, Legends? I'm here in
he did some good footage of the setup the first day. Let's see. We met everyone. So Friday after my lunch, a bunch of people met at Buffalo Wild Wings, which was right next to the convention center, before going in. And some people were getting their passes. Some people were setting up. And so we just kind of hung out at the convention center. We all kind of, like walked in together. Some of us had passes, some of us didn't. So we just kind of moseyed in all at once and nobody really stopped us. But we got to go in and see our section, which was nice. Let's see. YouTube. Okay. So this was the convention center. Obviously, you can see it pretty damn big. A lot of people are saying this was quite small, which was really interesting to me because I remember the one from last year in Charlotte, which is the only one that I can compare to, and I felt like it was way bigger than last year's Charlotte location. But as you can see, you got Mason from Cardinal Gaming. He's setting up there. He had a really bad situation. I'm sure he'll make a video about it. His van or truck broke down, something with the wheel bearing or something like that, and then they had to get a U-Haul and the mechanic and all. It was a mess. I'm sure he'll make a video about it. But luckily he got there. He got everything set up. I think he had a good weekend, so that was good. And that's Ray right there. You guys know Ray from other live streams and videos and stuff. But the convention center was pretty big. And then this is Luke. We met Luke. Luke was with us for setup. And then we went to, that night, before the show, we went to a bar. So Luke obviously took some footage here at the, this is after Dan showed up. So I'm probably not even in this because we probably left before he took this video, but I'm kind of blocking Dan, but like you got Mason, that's Walrus right there, and Basic Trainer, and Dan and Nick is behind Mason there, and Thrifty. Yeah, there's just loads of people that all just hung out that night. It was super, oh no, wait, where am I? Because Drew's right there. Oh, I think I'm right there. That's me. So yeah, you got Mertz and Walrus and Beerski, and yeah, there's just loads of people. Yo, Dan. Thanks for becoming a member. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. But yeah, it was a great time. It was super loud. I thought that this bar was extremely loud. It was really hard to hear people. There was music. There was like really drunk people kind of off behind us, and then there was like 25 of us there. And luckily, this back sort of area was kind of all taken up by us. And luckily, the lady who reserved that table didn't show up. That was great. That was one of the quietest places you went. Man, how? I was literally screaming at people. And I couldn't even, dude, Dan, stop it. Dan, thank you for gifting memberships. Cheval, welcome. Jesse, welcome. Your average player, welcome. Kingslayer, welcome. Gerald, welcome. Appreciate you guys. Thank you, Dan. That's awesome. We probably unlocked some more emotes. Probably, I would assume. But yeah, I appreciate that, dude. Thank you. UAP lurking. I feel like UAP is always lurking. So yeah, I felt like this place pretty loud, but apparently it was quiet. I was screaming at people trying to this guy, Dan, thank you for the $10. Thank you for handling my package in Charlotte. Okay. Ayo. Okay, so I went over to Dan, and this dude is just like, he's like, oh, thanks for bringing my box to the show. I was like, oh, that's fine, whatever. He's like, just take something. I'm like, what do you mean, just take something? He's like, no, just take something from the booth. I mean, I would have had to pay for like an intake fee. Just take something. I'm like, I'm not just gonna take something. He's like, just take a Charizard. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm not just gonna take it. I'm not just gonna take something. But no, I appreciate it, Dan. Thank you. Thank you very much. And it was no problem. No problem at all. Dan's in a good mood tonight. Dan should be in a good mood. He's sold a lot in Charlotte. Dan was definitely the overachiever in terms of sales for our booth in Charlotte. Yeah, it was wild. But yeah, so this bar was fun, and everyone there was fun. I got to meet a ton of people that obviously have been in stream or in comment sections or whatever and make content themselves, and it was super fun to meet everybody. It was a really good time. I'm sorry, Luke, I know I'm scrolling through you guys should definitely watch this video, Legend of Luke. He was a really nice guy as well. We met multiple times. I don't know if that shows up in chat or not, but if it does, you should go give this video a like. Okay, let me show you my booth. So, here's what my booth looked like. This one. All right, here's what my booth looked like after it was all set up. So this was our section, and this is my booth. So I had 2 of these graded card cases. Obviously, I brought my own cases. You can see these are the Collecticon cases over here. What's nice about the Collecticon cases is they don't have the little shelves, but it's kind of nice to have the shelves. I feel like it makes it look a little tidier, but it's nice. The Collecticon cases, you could fit a lot more stuff in because you're not inhibited by the shelves, but I think the shelves look nicer in my opinion. So I was happy that I had my own. You know, I've done local events and stuff, so having your own cases just kind of makes sense, especially when you can drive. You can just take them with you. And then I had my boxes set up exactly the way I wanted. Luckily, I had the exact amount of room that I was hoping for. So I had my less than $50 graded card boxes. And I think I have a video of what the cases looked like. Here we go. This is when you walk up to my booth. So this is case number 1. So case number 1 had, I tried to focus on just really popular Pokemon, like Evolutions, Pikachu, Rayquaza, Gyarados, Blastoise, Mew, Snorlax, like all of those Pokemon. And all of the cards in the cases were pretty much above $50. So there was some stuff that was really expensive, some stuff that wasn't. You can see that I also had some packs up here, Team Rocket Returns, Fire Red Leaf Green. I sold out of, actually, hold on. I will continue before we talk about sales. But yeah, so I brought the packs. People definitely really like the packs. And this was my setup for one of the cases. And then obviously you have the 2 boxes of the less than $50. And then you have the case that Cheval was looking for. You have the ponchos up in top middle. Base set Charizard, Dark Charizard, first edition Lugia. Like there was a lot of stuff that I was really surprised didn't sell. Especially some of this ultra modern stuff like the Charizard V-Stars or Vs or any of the Charizards really. I did sell some of the Charizards, but some of this stuff I was just really surprised didn't move. And then, you know, the Mewtwo V-Stars, all of the Master Ball holos in the bottom, all those pristine Master Ball holos. By the way, I've sold every single one of those in the last 2 days, except for like 3. So, yeah, they sold immediately after I posted them when I got home. So that's awesome. That's what basically paid for Card Party was Master Ball reverses, which is pretty sick. So yeah, that's what my booth looked like. I could have probably done with 2 more. I could have probably done with another table, but just to get all of my graded cards out there. But I felt like I had a pretty solid selection for people to check out. One thing I will say is the position of my booth. Okay, wait, what video is this? Oh, this is from the backside of my booth? What am I doing? What is this video? Oh, this is all the extra. So this is all the stuff that couldn't fit in the cases, which is a lot. I mean, that's a lot of graded cards. And these are all like the anime cards that I had. But yeah, I had this trolley thing. So my parents got this for like when they go to the beach or when they go to the park or whatever to haul their like table and their cooler and stuff around. But I mean, everyone had one. Like when I showed up, I thought I was going to be like unique. I was like, damn, this thing's sick. It fits all my shit. And then I walk in and it's like, no, everyone's got a trolley. I'm like, okay, well, I'm late to the party then with this because this thing was slick. Being able to just toss everything in the trolley at the end of the day and just haul it back to the hotel and not have to do multiple trips and not have to do any of that. Like that was super duper, useful and very helpful. And it was nice. It was just a nice little thing that could keep all of my stuff in one place. I wasn't like sprawling everywhere. And it fit behind my booth really well as well. So this was just a really solid idea to use this. Actually, this is my mom's idea. I have to give her credit for that. She thought about that because they own it. They were like, oh, you should take this thing. It would be super helpful for you. I'm like, damn, yeah, it would. Did I sell any Marvel cards? No, I didn't bring any Marvel, actually. I just brought anime stuff and Pokemon. Can't justify owning those, but I do appreciate them. The ponchos. I tried to sell them. I had one. So the first day was pretty damn slow. Like so they let the VIPs in at 9, and then they let the general population in at 10. So one ticket is obviously more expensive than the other. And I guess during VIP time, it's usually a little bit busier than it was, but like apparently VIP time for Saturday was extremely slow compared to other events, which I don't even know if I had one person come up to my booth in the first hour on Saturday. I feel like it was really slow. But one thing that I thought was going to be a good idea, but ended up being a terrible idea, was this right here. So what I thought would be a great idea when I picked my spot was I was like, oh, this would be awesome. There's no other booth across from me, and there's a lot of walking, like, you know, passage, so people can pass through. There's a bunch of space so people can shop without like, you know, like having to get around each other or whatever. There's a bunch of space, people shop, it'll be fine. But what I didn't realize is it's a walkway that people are going to use as a walkway. They're not going to stop at booths. They're using this as a walkway. So most people, I feel like for the most part, I was sitting in front of my booth with literally nobody for like 90% of the event. Because I feel like people just use this as like a hangout spot / walkway and not as like a shopping spot. So if I could re-choose my area and do it over again, I would not have chosen this. I would have chosen something more that faced the door, or something more that faced like another, because like when the buyouts were happening, or when a lot of like the heavy hitters came by, they would come by to like Dan's booth because they know Dan, or they would go to Jake because they know Jake. But then they would kind of circle around to like Thrifty, and then the people, and then they would just kind of stop. And then I was just like, ah, shit. So like so many people didn't even see what I had at my booth, because I feel like this walkway weird area thing, and maybe I'm overthinking it, but I don't really feel like I am. I feel like this was just a really bad idea on my part. I should have picked something that was more in the hustle and bustle and more across from another shopping section. So maybe a tip for you guys, if you're going to do an event, maybe stay away from big areas like this that you don't have anything across from. Would you trade one of your ponchos for some Sun and Moon PSA 10 Altars? No. No, that was one thing. People wanted to trade for those like the entire event. They would look at it and be like, oh, would you do trades? And I'm like, no. Would you do partial trades? No. I was not really in the mood to do any trades or partial trades during this event. Some other people did, and I think they did pretty well with them, but I just wasn't really into it very much. And then from here, so I don't know, Ruxin's booth. So Ruxin was there with a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh guys, and I feel like they were over in that vicinity somewhere, like over in this area. I saw Ruxin walk by, and I was on the phone, and I was like, hey, Ruxin, what's going on? And he's like, hi, and then walked past. He had no idea who I was, but I had to say hi. So let's see. This is Ro. Ro was next to me for the event. We kind of looked after each other's stuff when we had to go to the bathroom and stuff. That's Hoodoo TCG in the corner there. He did really well on like mystery packs, and he sold a lot of sealed product. And then I think that's Shadowless Jack. Is that right? I'm gonna look like an asshole. I think that's Shadowless Jack, who had the middle booth here, who did really well with some modern packs, I think. And then Thrifty was in the corner next to him. And that's Ponga. Face reveal. There's Dan, obviously. And then that's Pokenomics and his girlfriend. They were right next to me. Jake had 3 tables. So he had, and a lot of good, like, really good raw cards. Like, stuff from, like, every era. So he had a lot of interest at his table because he had a lot of really good stuff for people to buy and probably grade and things like that. Oh, that was Gengar's Den? Okay. For some reason, I mixed those two up. Okay, Gengar's Den. My bad. So this booth over here is loose packs. So, and they are exactly what you would think. They buy and sell loose packs from just about every era you could think of. So when you go over to their booth, it's literally like it's just like vintage, modern, all sorts of packs everywhere. And at the end of the second day, I had a whole bunch of light packs still from the EX era light packs. So Fire Leaf Green, Team Rocket Returns. So I just walked over there and was like, hey, what would you give me for these? They're lights. And they quoted me a price, and I was like, all right, let's do it. And that's where like $3,500 came from, was selling the rest of my packs to them. The first day I actually sold a full art set of Fire Red Leaf Green. I think in 2 or 3 other Fire Red Leaf Green packs to just con goers, people who came up and saw the packs and wanted to purchase them, which is really cool. The packs actually did the best out of anything. And I sold, if I didn't have the packs, it would have been kind of a rough event. I probably would have only sold like $2,000 worth of stuff, like slabs and stuff, which for an event like this, like I sold $2,000 at the local event. So $2,000 at a Collecticon would have been a little underwhelming for me. But it would have covered the event, so it still would have been fine, but it would have been a little underwhelming. Let's see. So I brought a cooler. I I'm not sure we'll be able to see it. So I brought a cooler, right? And something happened on the first day with the cooler that people probably don't know about. And on the second day, when they were checking the vendors in, they were confiscating water and food. And when Pikachu left on Sunday, I asked him to take the cooler with him because he got bought out and he was just going to leave. So I asked him to take the cooler with him. Apparently, the lady at the front was very mad to see him walking out of the event with a cooler. Really pissed off. So basically told him to kindly fuck off with the cooler. A little bit nicer than that, but she was apparently not very happy with the fact that there was a cooler. So what happened with the cooler on the first day, which may have sparked the confiscation of food and water on the second day? Let's see if we can find it. Nope. Okay, wait. This is the setup. All right. So this is us walking to the event. That's Drew. He's freaking massive. Dude is... I felt like I had a bouncer walking around with me the entire weekend, which was nice because sometimes we were out really late. Because I am a short guy. But yeah, this is Charlotte. Give you guys some nice city view. It was three blocks. It was basically just like you walk out, you take a right, and it's 3 blocks down, and you're there. It was super easy. So we're moving. We get to the next light. Drew and I talking about stuff. Getting closer to the event. Sorry if this is like super triggering. Okay, here's the convention center. Really nice building, super big spot. The sandwich shop I went to was literally right across the street. So we wait to cross, and once you get inside, so these are people lining up for the event. I think we got there like 7:45 or something like that to set up. You could get in at 8 to set up. You get 1 hour, and then they start letting people in at 9, the VIPs. Once you walk in, there's obviously the big Pikachu blow up. I feel like they bring that just about everywhere. And, you know, Drew's got the cooler. Everyone's ready. We got our vendor passes. Skip ahead a little bit. We had to go find an elevator, so I asked this kind man where the elevator was. It's over there. Awesome. The weather was actually perfect as well. It was super freaking nice. So now we're chilling. We're coming in. Okay. Now what could possibly go wrong with the cooler that might have pissed some people off? Oops. Drew, what did you do? Let's watch that again. Drew let the cooler go on accident, and it fell forward, and water went literally everywhere in between these two booths. There was water, there was ice. It was all over the floor. Hold up. It's coming. I think it was right next. Yep, hold on. There it is. All over the floor here. Basically, the entire section here between the two booths, water and ice. And water bottles. So we picked everything up. And I didn't just leave it, all right? I went and told a guy. I got my stuff to the booth, and then I ran over, and I told the lady, I was like, the lady at the front, I was like, hey, there's we had a small water spill between two of the booths. I just want to let you know. Is there anyone that can help us clean it up? And she's like, yeah, I'll call somebody. So she called somebody and said, hey, we have a water spill. I walked the guy over, showed him the water spill, and then he's like, all right, I'll take care of it. And then they took care of it. But Maybe I'm just like, you know, I have a feeling that could have attributed to them not wanting people to bring water into the event on day 2. That's very possible. You got another nice shot of Ray there. And then Ponga. And it was cool. So we had kind of like an L shape of sections. So on the right here, you could see that this was our section that we were at. Me and Dan and everyone that I showed before. And then over here was Ray's section. So I think you had the Green Shiz over here. You had Ray. You had a bunch of other people. And then you had Mason's section there. So Mason from Cardinal Gaming. He had like the entire section apart from like 2 tables on the backside. And then on the other side of that, Weedle's Warehouse had a section. And that was Drew's section and a bunch of other people on that side as well. So we had like the Power L in the back of the event. And then on the other side, Nick Old School Pokemon section was like on the other. I don't even know where they were. I never actually got a chance to walk around, so I have no idea where they were at. But they were on the other side of the event. But yeah, I have a feeling that the spilt water did not do super well for people on day 2. It was really funny though, because on day 2, so Drew and I ordered Uber Eats to the event for breakfast. And so the Uber Eats showed up. I grabbed the stuff. I put it in the tow behind or the little trolley thing. And we got to the checkpoint where they were taking people's water. And I think they took the Green Shiz like water bottle and stuff like that. They were like confiscating water and food and stuff. And I'm like, oh shit, we just ordered this Uber Eats. Like they're either going to take it or we're going to have to sit out here and eat it. And it was already like 10 after 8 or something like that. So we were wanting to get in to set up. And so this dude comes out and saves me out of nowhere. This guy comes out and sees the big trolley and is like, oh, you're going to have to use the elevator. And he pointed me over to the elevator. I was like, oh, thank you. So I went over to the elevator, totally skipped the security check. And we got in with our sandwiches, and then everyone was giving me shit because they're like, oh, the lady took my water bottle and he gets in with that giant, breakfast sandwich. I felt kind of bad, but it was also kind of clutch. So yeah, Drew helped me bring in the cooler. Everyone had waters. I brought granola bars and stuff as well for people to munch on. The first day was rough. I didn't have any lunch the first day. Luckily, Dan was freaking clutch on the second day and ordered a bunch of Bojangles for people. That was super, super nice. But yeah, I don't know. It was just a really fun event. It was a really good time. You can see some of my setup if you want. It's nothing super crazy. I thought that I would do a video, but then I didn't end up recording as much as I hoped. Like I didn't end up walking around the event. I didn't end up recording as much as I really wanted to because I don't know, there was a part of me that just really didn't want to leave my area. I was a bit paranoid about it on the first day. I feel like the second day was a little bit better, but it was still, I had a lot of expensive stuff that was not actually in the case. I had like graded Team Rocket Returns packs and stuff like that, which were really expensive that weren't in the case. And then I had all these graded cards here that I don't want anything walking away, but so I didn't really walk around all that much. But it was a really good event. Sales wise, I did like 7,800. It was about $8,000 in sales, and most of that was packs. So I'll go into it a little more deeply in my month end video. But basically, I sold basically like probably $5,000 some just worth of light packs at the event, which was really nice. And then, or maybe right around $5,000 in the light packs. And that was great because that was one of my main goals was to move those light packs because I've had them for so long and I just wanted to get rid of them. Like, I don't want to sell them on eBay. I just want to move them. I just want to sell them to somebody. I just want to walk up and get cash and walk away. And that's exactly what happened with that loose packs place across the way. It was super nice to move those. I still have the heavies, which would be cool. I have to figure out what I want to do with those. But yeah, it was super nice to get that cash. And then I sold a bunch of slabs too. I would say, man, I don't even know. It wasn't even really anything specific in terms of slabs. It was just anything. It was like whatever anyone was looking for. It was like people would just walk up and be like, "Oh, that RK9 is really cool. I really, I'm not even an RK9 fan, but it's so cool. I want to buy it." And then they would just buy like $100 RK9 slab. So that was cool. I did sell both of those PokeQ and Gardevoirs for I think 400 a piece. That was kind of a big thing. The other PokeQ stuff came home with me. I had a tentative buyer for the Magikarp and Gyarados ponchos, which that was really annoying, kind of. I mean, I didn't really care all that much, but it was just annoying because he was kind of a douche. He came up and he's like, what's your best on the Magikarp and Gyarados? Or no, he just said, would you do 4,500 for the Magikarp and Gyarados? And I thought about it for a minute, and I was like, could you do 4,750? And he was like, that's not how I do things. I just give you an offer, and you want it, take it. If you don't, don't. That's what he said. And I was like, at that point, I should have just said, all right, no thank you. But then I thought about it, and it was like, it's a 90% offer on both the cards. Like, that's pretty good. If I sold them on eBay, I would pay more in fees because it's 10%. So I was like, all right, I'll do it. So we shook. He's like, okay, I gotta go move these cards and then I'll be right back. Apparently he had some agreement with another booth that he just said he'd get me the cash and come back. So he comes back, he doesn't have the cash. He's like, okay, man, here's the situation. I'm waiting for another vendor to come back because he's gonna buy some cards, and then when he buys those cards, then I'll pay you for the Magikarp and Gyarados. I'm like, okay. And then he came back like an hour later and was like, oh yeah, man, the guy's still not at his booth and I feel so bad. And basically he just flaked out on the deal. And that's fine, whatever. It is what it is. But it would have been nice to move those as well at that price. I think that there was some interest, especially for the Magikarp and Gyarados, but I didn't want to go lower really than $2,250 a piece, which was 90%. Just because like they're ponchos, like they're super cool, they're super liquid, they're super unique. Like I just wouldn't want to sell those for like 70%. I just wouldn't. I would rather keep them. I feel like at that point. So we didn't end up selling those, but we did end up doing nearly 8K in sales, which is really awesome. Let's see, what else? We went to dinner Saturday night, which was great. We stopped at an Italian restaurant, and we had some pretty good Italian food. I don't even remember what I had. Some sort of pasta with kale and spicy sausage or whatever. It took forever, though. We were the only table in there, but somehow it took like 4 hours for us when we sat down to leaving to getting food and all that jazz. And then after that, how much for the Zard ponchos? I'm guessing around 3K. Definitely not. Not for the mate. Well, no, that's not what I was asking for them. If they're back down around 3K, I would probably just hold on to them at this point. If they've gone down that far, I think I was asking 5K for the 5K for the. I don't know which one's the X and which one's the Y, but I think it was like 4,250 and 5K or something like that I was asking. I was probably asking a little higher than last solds, but I honestly would keep them for if they were like 3K a piece, but I don't think they're 3K a piece. If they are, then I'm definitely going to hold on to them. I didn't rip one of the heavies. I will probably on a video here soon to kind of celebrate like my birthday, Collecticon, doing well in Collecticon, my birthday, and like a whole bunch of other stuff that's happened recently. I feel like it's need for celebration. So I'll probably. The problem is I didn't bring a sleeve or card saver or anything, and I'm sure I could have asked somebody for a sleeve or a card saver, but I thought about grabbing it, and I just ended up not doing it. You should have said that's not the way I do it. I need cash in hand. Yeah, it was kind of annoying, but it is what it is. So we went out to dinner Saturday night, and then Sunday the whole day did decent. Had sold more slabs that day, and then moved all my packs to that loose packs place. And I sort of got a buyout, not really. There was this duo of, I think they were German streamers. I don't know if they streamed on Whatnot or what, but they came around and bought out basically all my PSA slabs that were like $40 or less. So that was cool for like 70%, or I don't know what it was. Because those are a whole bunch of things that are kind of tough to move, like on eBay, like those lower cost PSA 9s and 8s and stuff like that. But they just came through and they were like, we're looking for any PSA graded card, $40 or less. I was like, all right, and just pulled out all these cards. And I think it was like $240 worth of cards or something like that. And they just took them all. So that was cool. But I didn't get any big buyouts like people. Some people were walking around just offering like 65, 70% for everything in the cases or whatever. I didn't get any of those, but we did decently. I would say $8K for one weekend is pretty sick. But yeah, like I said, without the packs, it would have been kind of a rough weekend, but it was cool. And I got to meet a whole ton of people. It was super fun. And I got to meet Andrew or Andy from Card Secret. That was cool. They came up to the booth. They were looking at some Japanese stuff. I talked to him about his store, and I told him that I was there, last year and all that stuff. And we talked about him moving. We talked about like graded cards in Japan, and we talked about all of that fun stuff. So that was a really cool conversation. I told him I was going to be there again in March, so hopefully I'll get to see him at his new shop. That'd be cool. I'm trying to think if there's anything I'm missing. And then Sunday after the show, everyone went out to dinner, but I didn't go with because I stopped at a restaurant. It was called Mert's Heart and Soul or something like that. It was like a soul food, southern food place. I got some chopped barbecue with some mac and cheese, sat outside. It was nice and quiet and chill. And I ate some nice stick to your ribs style of food. And then I just fell asleep at like 8 p.m. And everyone else went out to dinner. They hung out in like the trade area, all that stuff all night. I was snoozing at like 8 p.m. I was out. I was gone. But yeah, I regret not going to dinner with them and hanging out that night on the trade area. But I was exhausted, man. I was done. And then Sunday morning, I just woke up, grabbed the coffee, and drove home. And that was kind of all of it. I met everybody, like everyone who was there, apart from Gem Mint, which I will. Card Party will be the next opportunity for me to meet Gem Mint. Someone better have invited him to come on podcast. Andrew would be a great guest for PokeFlipz. Yeah, the Pokenomics Monthly, that would be really cool for Andrew to be on, because he could talk about the Japanese market in a way that like nobody else really could, I feel like. That would be really cool. But yeah, that was fun. That was definitely fun. You wear a GoPro? I actually have a Sony. What is it? Like the live streamers on Twitch, the live streamers that do like the IRL stuff. I have one of those. I have a Sony AS200 or something like that. It looks like this. It gets really nice footage, and I had a problem with GoPro where the footage. So this is going to be really nerdy, but this camera has this camera doesn't have digital stabilization. It has mechanical stabilization, which makes it a lot smoother than GoPros, which have digital stabilization. So I've been using this camera a bit more. I had the GoPro last time I went to Japan, and it worked for the most part, but there was some footage that was just unusable once you got into like lower light situations. This seems to work a lot better for that. It's a bit more expensive though. I think it's like $500 or $600. I forget how much I spent on it, but it works pretty well for these styles of videos. How's it going, PokeKid, by the way? But yeah. And then I just throw it on my backpack. I have a little shoulder mount for my backpack, and then I just do that. But it was just a really fun event. It was super cool. I had a good time. It was nice hanging out with people, meeting everybody. I feel like I have some post-event depression. Does that make sense? Dan, does that exist? Post-event depression? Where you get to like, you get like a whirlwind of like Pokemon, hanging out with all your buddies, like all that stuff. And then you go back to real life and it's like, yep, back to the grind. Yeah, I feel like I feel like I have post-event depression. But, you know, susceptible to my post-event depression, I decided that I'm going to Card Party 2 next year. So I booked I haven't booked the flight yet, but I booked the hotel and the ticket for Card Party. I will be at Card Party 2 next year. And I think that Jake is planning to sell at that. I think Jake is planning to sell at that because he said he wouldn't mind putting some of my stuff in his booth. That would be awesome. But I paid for the VIP treatment. Pat Flynn better be giving me foot massages for how much I spent for that ticket. I better be getting foot massages from Pat Flynn for that ticket price. Cause goddamn, I paid up. I did like the $500 for the 3 days for the VIP treatment. So I figure it'll be fun to have access to like the VIP lounge and, you know, I want to do like a proper vlog of that event. I don't want to sell at it. I want to be like, I want to be a person who is, you know, going to experience it and then hopefully do like a really cool vlog content of the event itself and all that and have access, you know, to escape and kind of mingle with the other PokeTubers that are going to have VIP access. This time I'm going to bring business cards because I'm an idiot and I didn't bring any business cards, so I didn't get to hand out business cards to literally anybody that I met, which was a horrible thing. Tell Pat you're going to do content. He'll probably put your name, channel somewhere on the site. No, you think he would? A lowly 3K sub YouTube channel? I don't know, dude. But yeah, it should be fun. It's going to be June in Florida, though. Is it hot in June in Florida? I feel like June is kind of hit or miss in North Carolina. It can be really nice in June or it can be really hot in June. It's it just is. It sucks. He isn't gonna like front page feature, but he did list some very small channels for the first event. Oh. Well, I guess I could. How would I even do that? Just Instagram? Just Instagram him? Just be like, hey, I'm super excited to be at the event next year. Look at my YouTube. But yeah, it should be a good time. I don't really know what they did at the first card party at all. I'm not sure. But it should be fun. I'm kind of sad that I'm not doing like a proper vlog of this event, but I just felt like I didn't get to record as much as I wanted to, but at least I'm able to show you guys, like, you know, the most of it, I feel like. He reads DMs a lot, I think. Try to hit him up during LOL week. He'll probably see it. I'm unsure how the process works. There were tiny channels listed on the site. Okay. Well, I'll think about that. That's probably a good idea. Man, it's crazy. So Card Party will be in June, and I'm going to be going to Japan at the end of March. So I'll have April, May, and then June. So 2 months after Japan, I'll be going to Card Party. That'll be really cool. So I'll probably do like 10 days in Japan, and then 2 months later have Card Party in Florida. Jesus. Hopefully I'll have enough vacation time for that. I think I will. I hope I will. But yeah, videos that you can expect coming soon. I have some PSA returns. PSA is just slamming me with returns right now. They just keep sending shit back to me. They're just like, just getting, I don't know. I did call today about the corner issue because more and more people are having that back right top corner problem with the damage. And my CRC order's been in for like 4 months. So I called in today and was like, hey, Apparently this order's on hold. They've had it for 4 months, just trying to figure out what's going on. And the dude was like, "Oh, yeah, it looks like it's on hold, but they didn't put any notes as to why it's on hold. So I'm gonna put an urgent request into them, and hopefully they'll get back to you soon." Like, what? You can just put orders on hold without putting notes on why they're on hold? What do you mean? Like, just give me my money back. Just give me my money back and ship the damn cards to me. That's all we need at this point. Like, so hopefully at some point that gets figured out so I can make that final video 4 months later. I get at least a comment like every week. It's like, "Hey, did you get this figured out?" My friend has the same issue. "Hey, did you get this figured out?" My friend has the same issue. I'm like, "Oh my god, no, I haven't. It's been 4 months, man. 4 months I haven't gotten this figured out, but hopefully it'll get figured out soon." That would be nice. So hopefully that final video will wrap up eventually. And I got PSA returns. There will be another member exclusive episode of Pokemon Fusion. I have to record that this weekend, but that should go up Sunday, hopefully. I'll try and record it Friday, have that up Sunday because I missed last week. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough time to record anything, but there will be another episode up for members. And then what else? Probably going to rip a heavy Team Rocket Returns pack. That'll be fun. Hopefully. That probably won't be fun because that's like $1,000 pack, and if there's not an EX, I'll probably cry myself to sleep that night. But I still have 4 more. If we don't get it on the first try, we just get it on the second try, right? If we don't get the Torchic on the first try, we just open the other 4. Hopefully it shows up. Yeah. Slightly unrelated, but it looks like PSA Japan isn't getting enough submissions. They dropped the grading fee by 20% until October 31st. Damn, imagine like opening your services in a new country and then not getting like a flood of cards. It is kind of weird though, right? It's like, I don't know. It's interesting. Oh, that's the end of that video. Yeah. That's weird. Unless it's just like a special to try and get people to, I mean, maybe they're just doing a special to try and market it so that more people can get in on the action. Whoops. But yeah, I don't know. The event was super fun and it was a good time. I have another local event coming up in November, but I feel like that's going to be a nightmare. Like that's going to be like really dead. It's going to be like 8 hours of just sitting there and nothing. I'm going to be in a town of like 6,000 people. That's it. Like 6,000 people. Oh, it's going to be brutal. It's going to be brutal. It is a special, but they wouldn't do it if they were maxed out. True. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you wouldn't run a special if you were, if you didn't have the capability of grading the cards. Some things that were requested of quite a lot at the Collecticon were surprisingly Dragon Ball Z. I don't know if they wanted the Dragon Ball Super cards or if they wanted the older stuff. Surprisingly, a lot of requests for Dragon Ball, which was super interesting. Had a couple requests for One Piece, but not nearly as much as Dragon Ball. And then there were a couple of like Star Wars collectors. But yeah. Any Stranger Things? I didn't get asked about any Stranger Things, but I'm sure some people probably had Stranger Things there. Whether it was like didn't they do a collaboration with Magic, and then did they do like a top set as well, or one of those other sets? I'm sure that there were people selling some. But again, I didn't get to really walk around. Or I guess I didn't really choose to walk around because I was kind of paranoid about leaving my booth for too long. But if I did, there was one card that I would have been looking for, which would be a Web Dark Charmeleon PSA or CGC 10. Web Dark Charmeleon PSA or CGC 10, because that is like my grail. I love having a grail that's like $125. It's pretty great. But yeah, I'd like to buy it at an event probably. But Web Dark Charmeleon PSA 10 or CGC 10. I would honestly prefer CGC 10, but I don't know if there are any graded in CGC 10. Maybe I have to be the first one to grade the CGC 10. But yeah, I love that artwork. I love the E-Series border, so it's kind of just a perfect combination of both things. But yeah, I might just wrap it up here then, guys. I appreciate you. Sorry I got a little heated talking about the Shiny Vert CGC grading cut card situation. Apologies if that offended anybody. I wasn't trying to. Oni Life, I like you, man. I wasn't trying to attack anyone in particular. I just think it's an interesting thing when it comes to brand loyalty. Personally, I find brand loyalty to be really stupid, and I think that people shouldn't be so surprised about what happened in that situation because it's pretty much by the book. It seems pretty normal with what you would expect in a situation like that. If you remove the brand loyalty of, the PSA over CGC, CGC, PSA, all that shit, it's pretty obvious that what happened should have happened, to me at least. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Thank you, Dan, for the super chat and the graded or the gifted memberships and the membership and all that stuff. I really appreciate it, man. We'll I don't know. There'll be a new video obviously Monday, and then we'll see you next week. We'll see you later. Thanks for stopping in, Nick. Thank you, Pokey Kid. Thank you, Dan. And we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.